All right, welcome. We are coming at you tonight from Nashville, Tennessee, and Noah's in Orange County tonight.
Yep,
Welcome to the live stream. How are you tonight, Noah?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for the time. Thanks for everybody making the time tonight. I know it's really, really important with family and juggling and making the time for yourself and to just get some uninterrupted moments. So thanks for this. I really appreciate it. I think it'll be highly beneficial for you. Our members have seen a lot of fruit that has come from this. We're going to dive into a few of the topics, a lot of questions. So I'll let Terry kind of lead that off, and then I'll go over some of the questions. I'm actually out here in California, in Southern California. Terry's out in Nashville. Our team's spread around. So just really grateful for you guys making the time tonight.
So, Noah, why don't you just start off by telling us why you started Noah University? Why did, out of your busy schedule, why did you make margin in your life to start something like this?
Well, for the last 30 years, I was building my business, started on a bike going door to door selling art. I grew up in Southern California. I then, by trial and error, I wanted to go to Art Center in Pasadena. I wanted to be able to get, I thought that the ticket back then was literally if you have a piece of paper from a really amazing design college, then you're going to be able to go out and get a job, and it's pretty much a guarantee. And you know what? That isn't the case. I thought it was. I thought that's what was going to happen, but I later learned not only was it extremely expensive, but it was more about like technique, like how good you could get in terms of technique. And I just really dove into teaching myself my craft or teaching myself the technique of drawing, talking to others. But then it got to a point where when I was going about learning about the business side of things, learning and growing a business, and how to discover clients and give clients what they need and nurture your clients and your tribe, etc. They didn't really teach that in school. So number one, I felt ruled out because I didn't have enough money. Second of all, I didn't see people teaching the business side of things. It'd be one thing to be able to do technique or to learn a craft or to have a passion or a gift or a talent. But it was another thing of like, what do I do with that? So the way Noah University got born was what happened to me during high school, right out of high school into my 20s and my 30s, and now I'm 43. For the last 30 years, I literally wanted to take my learnings of how I was able to succeed quicker, get my product to market quicker, create connections with customers quicker, and then also how to price things and make really good money at it. So my goal was how can I pull that formula together and provide it for other individuals to help them go from an idea or a dream to then not only doing that dream and carving out the time for that passion, but then also how to monetize it. So Noah University has 3 areas that it focuses on to help do that. But the reason why I created it was because I wanted to help people get there quicker. It doesn't have to take 30 years. I can help people get there in a couple weeks and a few months. I now have the blueprint for it and the roadmap for it. It's whether or not those individuals that get that knowledge and get that wisdom are going to put it into practice. But I can tell you, those that have taken my playbook from my experience in the 30 years and put that into practice, they're seeing fruit way quicker than the traditional marketing what we had before. Meaning, when I started, if I wanted to get myself out there to the world or get noticed, I had to put an ad in the paper, put an ad in the radio, send out flyers, go to the post office and get stamps, and actually print invites and invite people to come over to my gallery or to my event. Now more than ever, I have strategies and have figured out how to leverage technology and what we have today to literally be doing product launches every single week. Literally taking your vision, literally taking your idea, your craft, and whatever it is you feel most passionate about, whether you're doing food, whether you're a coffee roaster, an artist, musician, whatever it is that you're trying to get to market, whatever product that you have or service that you offer, I'm able to help take that, put it into a launching sequence that happens on a weekly basis, and the way that I've done it working with the corporate brands that I've worked with, and literally start to see payoff and trickle through not only social media, but your website, your blogging, and getting your message out there. So that's why I did it. I want to help take what I've learned and benefited from, and I want to help you do that. I want to help creatives get turned on and get lit up. That's the best way to describe it. The moment that I've sat with these members and been able to sit down and say, okay, so here's the way that's going to roll out. And when they start looking at that execution on a weekly basis, they start to see fruit. When they start to see income happen from that, it's a total game changer. So that's why I did it. There's nothing that brings me more joy than seeing a creative go from, I didn't think I could ever make money at this, to then making very, very good money at it, and it constantly compounds the more that you keep throwing wood on the fire. The secret is to find the right wood and something that burns for a long time. So,
yeah. So one of the questions we just got was what is the biggest benefit you think of joining NoahU University?
The biggest benefit is clarity. The one way that I try to describe it is I wanted to be able to wake up and be able to answer the question, who am I, what am I supposed to do, and how am I supposed to do it? I needed to have that certainty in my mind that when I went about it, when I went about my day, when I went about my weeks, my months, my years, and as I planned out my life, I needed to be able to have a plan to it and a roadmap for that journey. Before I started, it was more about throwing spaghetti up against the wall and trying to get it to stick. And I was taking all these experiments, hoping, literally, it's like hope marketing. It's hope and wishful thinking. It's wishing your dreams to death. It's like, I have all these dreams, and I just wish that they would happen. And if I just work hard enough at it, it'll just happen. For me, it was more about taking stock and first stopping and really taking a look at the value of time, the value of my effort, and learning how I could work the least amount possible, making the most money possible I've ever made while doing what it is I love the most. If you really want to, if you're going to get into NoahU University, and if you're going to take that journey, which I really hope you do, because it's, if anything, it's going to give you clarity of what not to do and what to do. Now, whether or not you act on that or not is completely up to you. It's all based on how bad you want that life, whether it's that lifestyle, whether it's that more time with your family, whether it's more time in a craft that you actually love. Maybe you're working in a cubicle and maybe you feel like you can't get out of you can't escape the cubicle. You're just tied to trading dollars or trading time for dollars. I help individuals, even if they're in a job, stay in a job while underwriting and funding their dream on the side. We have one member in particular who did that, was completely wrapped up with 60 to 80 hours a week, making somebody else a lot of money and building their brand and making them look really, really good. And what we started to do was started taking these small experiments and started taking these small doses, bite-sized doses each week, to do an experiment with his brand on his website. Let's get the blogging. Let's get the contest. Let's get the strategies down on a weekly basis. Meanwhile, money started to come in. Money started to come in. These things started working. They started snowballing. His brand started to get some consistency to it. His consumers felt confident in him. And as it started to happen, he was living his dream, saying his message, saying his talent, his creativity, with nobody else looking over his shoulder. He got to do what he wanted to do, get paid for it, and got more time with his family. What eventually happened was he was able to migrate out of the cubicle for building somebody else's dream and go 100% full-time on his job and his career at home. The reason that I think this worked for him was because he had the desire and the passion to do it. This isn't a cakewalk. This is me providing you all the tools of what it's going to take to do it. The question is, are you going to do it? And the great thing about our community and our private Facebook page and all of our members that are together, everybody's encouraging one another. When you get into NoahU, you have access to a private Facebook page that's all the members, and it's members sharing tips, ideas, risks, discoveries, stories. Literally, you have an encouragement pool of people that sharpen you, that encourage you, and that put wind in your sails. That's the other reason why I created NoahU University, was I wanted a community of creatives that truly go after their dream and they're intentional about living. If you really want to live in the sweet spot of doing what you do best and making money while doing it, but the biggest component impacting lives, then this is the right place to be. I could not find this anywhere. That's one of the other reasons why I created it, was I could not find a place on the web that was for creatives getting ignited, living their dreams, and having the tools and the playbook in order to do it. So that's why I did it.
Yeah, and as you were talking, the private Facebook group, it was one of those tools that I don't think either you or I, when we started NoahU University, expected just the awesomeness of the group. Even today, just watching one of our members that had a huge question, and 10 members rallied around his idea, encouraged him, gave him tips, even referred him to some possible vendors to make that happen. And it was, it was instant. And honestly, I think that group alone is worth the price of being in NoahU University.
The amount of resources that you get from the community, and one of the things that I share is where I get my stuff manufactured, where I get my stuff done, how to deal with vendors, how to tier your pricing and your products, and how and why you make those tiers. These are all methods. These are all methods and experiments that I've tried and tested, from working with television studios, movie studios, Disney, MTV, everything that I've done over the years of working with these sorts of brands and all of these experiments. You get to benefit from all those learnings. And that's what a mentorship is really, really about. It's about helping somebody that's already done it, and you can learn not only from their mistakes, but learn from their successes. My goal is that you would listen to this call and that you would really get this in your mind. No matter what your age you're at, we all have the same thing. We're all going to die, but we all share time. And we all have the same amount of time in terms of what we can do in a day. We don't know how long our life is going to be, but here's the one thing that I want you to take away from this. If you could talk to somebody, or more than one person, and find out how to hit the bullseye that much quicker in life, would you not do that? I mean, for me, the not going to school, I literally ran and tried to find people that were living the life that I wanted and or were doing the things that I wanted to do, whether it be the time freedom, whether it be doing art professionally, having my own business, running my business out of my home. I looked for those individuals that were doing what it is I wanted to do, and I went and I literally just sponged the knowledge from them. So that's what we're doing here. We're taking 30 years of content of things that have been launched, things that have been tried, subject matter, branding, the way you brand yourself, the way you do your web, the way you do your marketing, the way you do your email campaigns, the way you deal with your list, how do you grow a list, how do you get customers, how do you love on them, how do you build them, how do you make them talk about you and build your brand for you to where you're not the one having to do all the talking. Those are just a few of the things that you learn and techniques that you learn on here, but it's a very in-depth dive into the foundations of what a solid brand looks like. I will say this, there are a lot of brands out there, especially with social media, and you guys see it as you're looking at Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and everything that's out there. It's a very, very, very screaming world. Everybody's trying to scream a message at you. What I really try to do is help you focus in on content that is going to impact and disrupt people in a way that is, I'm not talking in a bad way, in an alarming way. I'm talking in a way that it disrupts them, that makes them go, wait a minute, that's worth sharing. What this person just shared, what this person just posted, this is something I need to share with others because it left something with me. It touched me today. A lot of companies and brands out there today are just yelling, and they're saying, I make really great stuff. I make really cool stuff. Now come and buy it. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm convinced through what I've learned personally in building my brand and what I'm doing professionally, it cannot be done in that realm. It cannot be done in that way. Traditional marketing is dead. The idea of just pushing messages on folks is over. The way that you actually build a strong base and a foundation through collectors, customers, and a following on how you love on them and they want to share your story. That's the key. But in order to do that, you really have to go deep. You really have to dive in depth on who you are, what you're about, and what you have to offer. And that's the difference here with NoahU, because you're going to go to a lot of other platforms that give you the tactical of, oh, just here's how you build an online business, or here's how you just build an audience, or here's how you just build a website, or here's how you just build this. What they don't tell you is how to really discover your story. Not only your story, but how you then translate your story into amazing products. Then when you take these amazing products and then market them in a non-traditional way through your platform, your story then gets conveyed through your products and just has a lasting impact. Meaning you're not going to be a flash in the pan brand. You're not going to be just a fly-by-night, one-hit wonder. My goal is to help build brands that are just super strong, long-rooted, very bedrock-founded brands, things that are going to last the test of time. So me personally, over the last 30 years, surviving, I don't know, what, 2-3 recessions, and I'm in the art business, how I did that, how I was able to take the gift of creativity and writing and translating that into projects and products, and how that actually got monetized and how I started making money online. The number one thing that I hear from most people that are thinking about Noah University is, how do I make revenue while I'm sleeping? Most people out there in the world do not believe that artists, creatives, writers, musicians, chefs, anybody that has an online product, they don't think that they can make money while they sleep. They also don't think that they can get their stuff licensed. I can definitely shed some light on that, and that's what happens at Noah University. But
Yeah, I think
a lot of individuals, they don't think that that's capable of happening, and I'm here to tell you, I can show you how to do it yourself. I'm doing it myself, and I can show you how to get to the sweet spot quicker.
Yeah, I think one of the illusions that a lot of people have when they're considering a product like Noah University and consider joining Noah University is they'll tell themselves like, well, what, I live too far, or you know, this circumstance or that circumstance. I'm too young. I'm too old.
Right.
And I kind of want to break down a little bit of just who all is involved in Noah University right now. We literally have people from all over the world. We have people from Australia. We have people from
you got Norway. You got England.
Norway, Switzerland, Texas, all over the United States, Australia. I think I said Australia. But just literally people around the world. We have people that are in high school that are part of Noah University. And we have some people that are have retired that are part of Noah University.
Right.
And so, it's not just one group of people. It's not just one type of person. Another one of the illusions that I think a lot of people have is they think that Noah University is just for artists. And I kind of want to kill that myth because, we have writers, we have chefs, we have photographers, we have models, we have a guy that runs a T-shirt apparel business. We have a guy that makes sunglasses.
Well, and another big one is tattoo artists, though, too. And I'll touch on that just for a minute, but there's a lot of tattoo artists that have been trading their time for dollars. Meaning, if you're a chef, and let's say you're making a dish and somebody then eats it, you need to make another one, and you actually need to be present with two hands. If you're a tattoo artist, you need to have somebody that's sitting in your chair, and when they're sitting in your chair, you're actually doing a tattoo on them, and then they leave, and when they leave, you need another person to come and sit down and actually make revenue. I mean, that's the only way that you're going to make revenue. Well, for a lot of people that were in the business of doing something with their two hands, they needed to be present and they needed to be there. They needed to be working on it themselves. The way that they tried to outdo that was, hey, I'm going to get other people to do my job. Well, I'm in the business of helping individuals realize that you can get your life automated. You can get your life to where you're creating a product, whether it's food, whether it's, let's say you were in the cupcake business or whatever it is you wanted to launch, or a food truck, whatever. How you can then take and leverage time and also automation where you're making money while you sleep off of products that sell and also can get fulfilled automatically without you even having to be present in order for that to happen. That's where you can start really maximizing and also live anywhere in the world and do that. I've now been able to work my business to where it really doesn't matter where I'm at on the planet, and I'm able to leverage that location and still keep doing my creativity, because never has there been a better time with technology for us to be able to get done what we need to get done. Whether you're shipping your product, your cookies, your cupcakes, your music, your art. But the whole idea is we have to start thinking, and one of the ways I teach creatives is you have to start looking at life where I have to be present in order to make revenue. That's literally where you're just trading time for dollars. So that's one of the biggest things to overcome. But once you learn the technique in that, then it becomes liberating. You then go on the hunt for how you can get it even sweeter. But in terms of age, I've got students in here that are literally in high school. We've got students that are retired. We've got people that are retired that are in later part of their life, and they're like, I want to get going on something that I'm really passionate about. And this is one of the things that I really, really herald. You have to be able to go from a life of just being successful, making money, to how can you live a life where being successful turns into significance, where whether you're giving to your favorite charity, whether you're helping people, whether you're encouraging others through your products and what it is you do, and the byproduct of that actually helps impact the world. Otherwise, why in the world are we staying here on Earth? Why are we just spending our time making something to make money, to go spend a lot of money on something or somewhere, whether it be a nice vacation or whatever? And I will challenge you with this question. When I speak, and I go around talking a lot about NoahU University, I speak at conferences. I'm speaking next week as well. One of the questions is if I gave you $150 million, whether it's the lottery or whatever, and I say, what would you do with your life? The first answer that comes back from everybody is, oh, I would go on a really nice trip to, Tahiti or Bora Bora or whatever. And I go, that's it? So you've got all this money, everything's set, and now all you want to do is you just want to go someplace really, really nice in the world and you want to have a nice vacation. And they're like, yeah, that's exactly what I do. And I look at them and I go, you can do that this year without winning that lottery, without getting that money. Most people determine and dictate their life based on actual dollar amounts. There's a great quote by Timothy Ferriss, which is, it doesn't take $1 million to live like a millionaire. And that's so true. And the moment you start to realize that, and the moment you start taking these little experiments that I show you how to do through these formulas, you are able to literally do bite-sized experiments that have a payoff, then you get revenue. And what if you were able to add another 250, 500, 1,000 in your first experiments per month to your bottom line over and above your normal job? What would that kind of revenue do to your life? What would happen if you then grew it to the point where you're like getting a few grand extra a month? Well, then you replaced your income every single month. Then you matched your income, you replaced it. Now you're like, wow, man, I can keep these two things going, or I want to grow it even more. Then you start looking, hey, where can I go live? Because now I don't need to be determined. My job isn't where I live. Life can really change. And then for Chantel and I, and you guys got to remember, just a little tip on what our personal situation is for those of you who are watching that don't know who I am and what I do. But I do creativity, I do art, I work from home, I have an office. I've had a 30-year business, growing that business into distribution with Costco, Disney, MTV, painted the cars in the Fast and the Furious. I mean, there's been a lot of fun things I've had the privilege to be able to do. But the secret was how do I take that and leverage that to get more time with my family and to be freed up? Because at the end of the day, we don't want to tell somebody else's story. We want to tell our own. My wife and I have been together for 14 years this year. I have a 9 and a 10-year-old. My son is on the autistic spectrum, so we are challenged with autism in our family. My daughter's fantastic, but with the challenges as well. She's got challenges. She's a great creative, but our family's been affected by it. Now we're looking at leveraging all this creativity and revenue and all the impact and momentum we've got, and how we can help impact the world and those families of special needs kids that need help. I tell you what, it's a lot different to wake up and put your shoes on in the morning when you're going after that goal than, hey, I just want to make money and survive. I really want you to understand that you are put on this earth more than just surviving. You need to thrive. And most people don't believe that that's possible.
Right.
And so that's a challenge that I give myself every single day, is that can get sweeter, it can get better. It is possible, and I wouldn't be sharing this, I wouldn't have built NoahU had I not done it myself. So everything that you're going to learn from me is what I'm executing on a daily, monthly, yearly on a yearly basis. So go ahead.
Yeah, and one of the biggest joys I think with NoahU University is just being able to watch our members just to see their lives literally change in front of us, and to see literally these things that you're talking about, these experiments, actually work. One of the first things we do, your first module that you'll get, will be about discovering your why and understanding why you do what you do. and one of our members, Deanne, I was meeting with her, one of our members last week, and she's taken that one element of learning her story and being able to communicate her story, being able to share her why with others. She's taken just that one element. She's gotten featured in newspaper. Her sales have gone up. She was just recently featured on the Dream Home on HGTV.
Yep.
And that's all because she literally just applied one principle. And I sat down with her, did an interview that our members will be seeing, and she's like, that just that one thing makes the whole program worth it for me, and makes
Yep.
me want to hang around forever, because it's something that's literally changing the way that I think. It's changing the way that, and it's changing her family. It's bought her more margin with her two girls this summer, and
Yep.
more time with her husband. And that's really the biggest win for us, is when people are actually able to apply those principles and actually see them work, because they worked for you.
Totally.
So yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I had, and one of the reasons why I created NoahU University, is because when things start to happen, when things start to pop, and when like Costco started to pop, and the Disney thing started to happen, and all these things came into my life, it has very little to do with art. It has to do with how to live and how to execute on business, and really just how do you get to that sweet spot as soon as possible without wasting your time and your money. And the reason why I created it is because I wanted to be able to tell everybody that message at once, rather than me with the limited amount of time that I have in life. I didn't want to keep going over and having this meeting and then pouring into that guy, and then going over again next week, meeting with this person, and then pouring into this person, and then meeting. I mean, literally, my days were starting to get filled up with people going, "How did you do it? And what do you do? What's your formula? And how do you execute? And how do you get this done?" NoahU University literally is a super high octane, intentional group of people that are getting as uncomfortable as possible as soon as possible. It's not about getting comfortable. It's not about getting some knowledge and putting it on a shelf and just letting it sit there and say, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's cool. I got the info," and then you sit there and don't act. It's literally folks that want to get to that sweet spot as soon as possible and are willing to execute and do the hard work and what it takes and carve out the time, especially on when I teach you how to restructure your time, and just the liberation of that. I mean, it was an absolute game changer for me when I started doing it. Like how often I even check email, how I guard my time with my, like literally fitting my work around my family versus fitting my family around my work. How to handle my marriage in the midst of all of this, how to handle my kids in the seasons of summer, out of summer. Literally, it's a lot of work when you look at what I've got going on and then how I execute that and still maintain a total balance. Most individuals I meet with is they want to get the balance. They feel out of kilter. They're way heavy into career at the sake of their kids and their wife. They don't take any vacation. They're completely burned out. They're fried. They feel guilty when they're at work because they're not with their family. And then when they're with their family, they feel guilty because they're at work. I have been there. I've completely been there where I'm resenting one or the other because I didn't have any balance, I didn't have any structure, and I wasn't efficient. I wasn't living in the sweet spot of the best use of my time. So one of the things that I will be teaching and that you will be learning is how to leverage your time, how to get structure, and it's not just time management, it's life management. It's an architecture to your life and the way that you spend it. You'll be able to look at your year and go, I know what my year looks like. And by the time I toast my glass at New Year's Eve, I'm going to have X amount produced. Literally, you're dictating how your life is going to be. You're not waiting for life to happen to you. If you plan your goals and your results, you increase them by 80% of actually happening. If you wait for it to happen to you, it's going to fall through the cracks again. You're going to have another year of a rinse and repeat. So I get that. But there's three main areas that NoahU University focuses on. And it's really important that you hear this. It's not just discovering why you do what you do, but out of that question is what your story is. Meaning when I had to come down and learn what I was going to paint and the products that I was going to create, I had to have a story to tell. Most people don't feel like they have a story to tell. I literally teach you how to discover what your story is. You have no business building a house You have no business picking everything out that's going to go in it and then invite everybody over when you don't know what you're built on. Noah University is building the bedrock of what your life is built on, and that is your story, and how your story can be a solution and how it can have impact for everybody that's on this earth. The people that you come in contact with and the people that get exposed to who you are will be changed as a result of you knowing who you are and what you're supposed to do. The second part, so the first part is story, the second part is your platform. If we're looking at the analogy of a house built on a cliff, your story is your bedrock foundation. Your second part is your home, which is your actual platform and people being able to experience you online, your website, your ecosystem every single week on how you do your email campaigns, how you build a list, how do you get people to get on your list, what are the tactical, actual practical little things to do, which mail clients to use, how to have an email form, how to then trickle your messages out there, and what's the best ways to leverage Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Do you do different posts on each? I mean, there's just, I'm telling you guys, it's so enriched when it comes to breaking down the actual online component of who you are, how to build your store, which ones are the best to use and why. Then you go into the third component, and the third component is your audience. Most people believe that if you just build it, they will come, and I got to tell you that's a complete lie. I take it upon myself, and I'm very convicted that I have a responsibility to not only my brand, but those that I've worked with, that I need to make sure phase one is done with my story. Second is taking that story and translating it into great products. But the third part is when I deal with my collectors and my followers on social media and that audience, there's a specific art to that. Most people think that things are just getting posted, things are going out at random times, and it's just this mishmash of just randomness. My life and everything in it is intentional. It's planned, it's articulated, there's a structure to it, and that structure allows me to create better. Everything from how to build your team, really diving into that, those you align yourself with, how to collaborate with other brands and lift everybody up at the same time. I'll show you examples of that. But the audience and how to build your audience and how to bring everybody over and how to love on people to where they're going to want to keep coming back and they're going to want to stay subscribed to you. They're going to want to hear your voice every single week. They're going to say, hey, I can't wait till your next post. That's the magic right there, is when you can hear your followers saying, I cannot wait to see what you post next. And when you do that, you guys, now you're hitting gold. You're hitting gold because go back to my first points when we started this call. You know who you are, you know what you have to offer, and you know exactly how to offer it. There's no guesswork. You don't wake up going, man, I hope I'm doing what I'm doing is right. And that's a haunting feeling. I had to get rid of that feeling. I had to get rid of that constant preoccupation of, I wonder if this is going to work. So,
yeah, I think one of the amazing things about NoahU University is the fact that you can find lots of other platforms. You can find places to learn how to build your brand, and you can find classes that'll teach you this or that. But nobody's really doing it in symphony like NoahU University does. Nobody's giving you the chance to discover your story, to get yourself on a plan, to get your schedule in line. Make your schedule work for you, not you work for your schedule.
Right.
How to build a platform, how to kind of do that all in symphony.
Right.
My background was in the music business and as an artist manager. One of the amazing things that happens for you as a brand is when everything kind of works in symphony, when everything is working together. And that's one of the key things that you'll learn in NoahU University. One of the things I wanted to go over, Noah, is just sort of, I'm going to break it down real quick, just what happens every week. And it sort of happens in a little different order depending on the month. But there's 4 weeks to the month. And then on the 5th week, you're going to get bonus content. If you look on the landing page right now to NoahU University, you're going to see some absolutely amazing bonus content. The art of publishing, where Noah takes you through how to publish your art, or really those principles really apply to whatever you're creating. How to use creativity, how to do a trade show. That's another one of our bonus things that you get on the fifth week of the month. But the other 4 weeks, the first thing we start with every month is our Foundry. And that's kind of our master class. That's Noah speaking, or Noah and I sitting down talking about the subject of the month. And the first one you're going to get is Noah talking about discovering your why. And then, the next week you typically get what we call the blueprint. And the
Yep.
blueprint is just sort of a place for you to, it's written material from the team, and practical, put into action tools that you can actually use right now in your everyday, and then some journaling exercises for you to sort of drill down on those things, so you're really kind of sharpening the pencil a little more every month. One of the most exciting things we've been able to do is something we call behind the curtain, and we sit down with high octane leaders. You'll get to hear from people like Chip Foose from Overhauling, and how Chip launched his brand. We're going to sit down with Martin from Keen Coffee and his amazing business, how his business went from 1 store to 2 stores to 200 stores back to 2 stores. Amazing content, amazing leaders. We kind of get to get inside sort of their business and hear what they're doing. You're going to meet a lady by the name of Lee Holt, and Lee handles a lot of the branding and the marketing for Oprah. You might have heard of her, and Pepsi. And we're going to kind of hear her story about how you can launch your brand correctly. And then 1 week every month, we do just what we're doing right here. We have a conference call where you get to sit down. You guys get to ask your questions every month, whatever they are, whether they're about the subject or about something random, and and we answer your questions.
Yep.
You hear from Noah how he's answering them. Our members love the conference call because we love doing this. NoahU University was really born out of us loving what we were doing and having conversations, and went, man, what would happen if other people got to sit in on these conversations? And you guys are witnessing kind of the fruit of that, of getting to sit in on the conversation.
One of the things I like about the weekly, though, just so that you guys know, is when these videos go out to you and they get emailed to you and that content comes out to you, you will log in with a username and password, so it's private. You'll log into the site, your videos will be there. And just to let you know, I'm involved in online memberships where I've been able to go in and get content, and when I watch it or listen to it, you don't have to watch the video. You can listen to the actual audio. I've done that when I'm traveling, when I'm sitting in an airport, when I'm working, when I'm out on an exercise, going on a bike ride or walk, or even just a drive. Nothing's better than listening to it in the car. The reason why NoahU was designed this way is because I did not want you to have to come to a classroom and trade time again. Literally get in on an airplane, go to a hotel, all these extra expenses. When I've done mentorships or I've done privates with individuals, it literally has been an airplane and them coming getting in a hotel. And if you just take that expense right there, that would cover the cost of this entire year of this membership. And if you think about it, you're hearing from us from over 50 times in that year. With the weekly information that goes out, this isn't a pace where you have to keep up. It's not like you have to do it every single week. That's a tall order. My goal is to be able to say, listen, here's all the content. Watch it, listen to it, drill down on it, answer the questions at your leisure, at your pace, based on what your lifestyle provides. That's the great thing about it being online. It really helps and makes it easier for you as an individual. Accommodate the content to your lifestyle when it's most convenient for you.
Yeah,
like,
I know
one
one of our members is a performer in Vegas, and a lot of us watch Netflix and Hulu, and we kind of binge watch. And we have some of our members that actually are able to do that with NoahU University, where they'll sit down one day a month. They'll make Saturday their kind of binge watching day, and they'll go through all the month's content on Saturday. And it's really your content to go through as you want. As NoahU University grows, there's chances are there's going to be somebody on the Facebook group that's going through the same thing that you're going through, and if not, there's people that have just gone through what you've gone through. So you're going to kind of get to experience, and as soon as you guys kind of go through the content, you're able to hop on the private Facebook page and say, man, Noah talked about discovering my why, or Noah talked about how do I launch my blog, or Noah talked about how to use social media. I've got some questions, and then you guys are able to post on there. The other members are able to kind of chime in, share with you kind of what they're learning and what their struggles are. Noah responds to those personally all the time. And someone's, a lot of our members are artists, and Noah will go in and critique the work if people are asking questions, and a lot of the stuff that you're going to get aren't things that aren't even listed on the site. We send out an email every week, but there are some weeks where we're sending out 2 emails. And Noah last week was on a cruise in Alaska and had a huge aha moment. And we sent that out to all the members. We shared it on the Facebook group. Now that was just bonus content. We're always wanting to give you guys just a really inside look to what's happening and give you access really to more information than I think anybody out there is offering with a product like we offer.
Yep. And then there was I remember a couple members actually that watched the first module, and here's the feedback that I'm getting, that what they're learning in NoahU in just a few months is more than they learned in 4 years of college. College doesn't teach you the art of business, of building your products, of building how you're pricing, of how to get that out, how to get that to turn revenue, how to have an online store. You can go and learn, a business school, or how to those practical things, Excel spreadsheets, and how to draft resumes, and how to do QuickBooks and accounting and all that sort of stuff. But what I find is most folks that come out of school do not have and have not learned the practical of being in the business world, of actually doing it. I looked at all of that and I just said, you know what, I'm just like literally trimming everything off that is unneeded and getting you guys to get a narrow focus on getting strategic and hitting the bullseye as fast as possible. And I get really passionate about it. It's not that I'm like, I get really fired up, I guess is the best way to say it. But when I see stuff that is unnecessary, I'm like, I want that rid as fast as possible out of your life. Like, this is not like baggage, this is luggage. Like, you're carrying around stuff you don't even realize, and it's just weighing you down as a brand. Most people, most creatives, most entrepreneurs do not believe that they can actually do it themselves. Their belief in themselves is pretty low. And I live by a saying that if my dream is not intimidating to me, it's most likely insulting to God. Mm-hmm. And when I'm not, it's the same thing when I teach about the power of negotiation. If I'm not uncomfortable, then I'm not asking for enough. And if you're sitting here looking and you're debating, man, I don't know whether or not I should join, I don't know if this is worth it, is it, listen, if you like what you're getting in life, just keep repeating what you've been doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. And you know what? You can wish your way into and hope that you actually get there. But it requires stepping out. It did for me. You cannot follow yourself in life, and that's one thing that I had to realize. The moment mentors came into my life, it dramatically changed my life and got me quicker to the goals that I was trying to achieve because I had something else to compare it to. Finding yourself at Barnes & Noble in like the self-help section and thinking that you're just going to read every single little book and you're going to be able to do it yourself and muster it up is, in my opinion, not realistic. Why? Because I did that. It was when I actually got around folks that were doing and being the type of person that I wanted to be, and as soon as I got exposed to them and started learning their techniques, that's where it really started to get ignited. So you got to remember this though too. I'm down the line, meaning you might be older than me, but the specific lane that I've been in has been where I've been able to do a lot of experiments in a very, very short amount of time, but it's been about 30 years. Now, granted, the biggest decisions in my life have been over the last 10 to 5 years. And we're talking giant. We're talking giant retailers. We're talking giant licensing companies. We're talking, how do I protect my own property, meaning my own intellectual property? How do I negotiate a deal? How do I know how to ask for things? How do I get it to where my product's being licensed from myself and I'm not going and licensing other people's products? What does wholesale mean? How do I leverage retail sales? How do I build distribution? These are all things that most creatives are going, I have no clue even how to do that. I just want to make stuff. Well, I can show you how to make stuff, but also make really good money at it where you're in control. And it's a really amazing feeling to be an entrepreneur, to be in business for yourself, and to be making revenue while you sleep. That is possible.
One of the great things that's come out of the community that we've started here with Noah University, and even just through the Facebook group and the interaction, is our members have asked for a chance to all come together, for a chance to be together in the same room, just like Noah said, when he started hanging around with people that were like-minded, that were moving forward, that the momentum of that group together was powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So we're launching a new event this fall called Reimagine. And if you've been to the landing page, chances are if you're watching this live stream, you've done some research about NoahU University. You've started to ask the questions. You're like, what's Reimagine? Well, if you go to reimagineconference.com, you can find out all about it. But we're offering kind of a special deal. Let me just give you a few details about Reimagine, and there's been some questions on the survey that we sent out for you guys. Reimagine is going to be in Orange County. Right before Noah does a big event every year called the Family Reunion. And he hosts that at his gallery. But right before that, again, on the 13, 14, and 15 of November this year, Reimagine is a gathering of a bunch of high-octane creators, some of the best speakers that I know of on the planet. And there's 4 or 5 things that aren't even on the website yet, if you were to go to the website right now, of just awesome things that are happening and people who work for amazing companies that are going to be speaking into your life about some of the same things that we've learned in NoahU University, but really the chance to not just watch them through a screen, but to sit down across the table from guys like Dana Harvey from Harvey Seatbelt Bags, and to be in the same room with Noah for 3 days, and to be able to ask those questions one-on-one. And we've given you guys a pretty amazing, absolutely special deal. NoahU is normally $129 a month by itself. We kind of rolled back the pricing and gave you kind of the original price of what NoahU University when it launches. And as NoahU University goes and continues to move on, the content's getting better. It's costing us more money to produce, so the price is going to go up. The price of everything goes up. But for right now, you can register for NoahU University and Reimagine together, a combined registration of $150 a month. So that's literally just $21 more a month than you would pay just to be a part of NoahU University. And I promise that you're going to get a few $100s worth of value out of it. The conference itself is, the registrations. If you just come to Reimagine and you're not a part of NoahU University, the conference is $1,000. So you could also pay up front. Or if you just want to enroll in NoahU University, that's $129 a month. You're making a year commitment to sign up to be a part of NoahU University. Or you can pay annually for $1,250 and get some perks for paying it all up front. We offer some special things. Noah's going to send you a book. You're going to get a little more of a discount on Noah's products. And then we have a student rate of $85 a month.
Tell them how that works in terms of the ID, etc.
Yeah, so when you click on the student link, you literally just hit submit here. You upload a photo or a picture of your student ID or a letter of registration from your school, and you automatically just qualify for that discount. You'll get sent to a page that'll allow you to enroll at that student rate right there. So,
when is enrollment end? When are we closing enrollment?
Enrollment ends next Tuesday at midnight. So 6 days from today? So next Tuesday, the 12th of August, midnight Pacific Standard Time. So you're really starting to run out of time. We've been open for a couple of weeks. And the new members that are coming in have already gotten their first module. They've already gotten that first master class. We're seeing them comment on Facebook and go, man, I watched this. My mind's blown. So if you enroll right now, you're going to be able to get that content right away with them. You'll be able to jump in head first and get started with that content right away. Right. That first module's there waiting for you the second you log in. You're able to get going. You're able to start digesting the content and applying the content. Just a couple weeks, we'll have our all members conference call, and you get to be a part of that.
Right.
As soon as you join, you'll get added to the Facebook group. So right away, you'll begin to introduce yourself, interact with others. We'll get to kind of meet your story. You can tell us about what you're creating, and we're constantly adding. The program just keeps getting better and better. The site keeps getting better and better. We keep adding as things are learned. We immediately are moving that into the NoahU University curriculum just to make this the absolute best product that it can be for you. So yeah, we got to
think about the bonus though too. With the art of publishing is a term that I used. Publishing your own products. It was a term used loosely when publishing art and when you're actually making art and you're publishing it. But publishing covers a lot of things: publishing books, publishing music, publishing product. The idea here is for you guys to actually really learn how to tier your product. no matter what it is you're making, no matter what content you're thinking of making. I created a module that has 4 parts to it. That is a standalone part that I am going to be offering for it's around $500, $495. That'll be a separate standalone product. You will get that product. That's a part of this enrollment. When you do enroll in NoahU University, you're getting that for free. So you're getting a $500 product just for free. That in and of itself, I've heard back from a lot of members saying they have watched that 3-4 times alone. And that right there, and showing them how to tier their product and to look at their product and wholesaling and being able to have distribution and how they're building their product line, how vital that has been. So I just want to encourage you on that. Think about that when you look at what you can get for Reimagine. You can get the conference. You can join us in Irvine in November. It's going to be amazing. And then we're doing a big old party at the gallery afterwards with the other members and the rest of the public. But not only Reimagine, but you're also getting the art of publishing. And there's some other standalone stuff that's going to be coming along that's very exciting. But I just want to let you know how much bonus content that you're going to get. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I just got the calculator out just to figure out if you bought it all individually, it's almost $3,000 worth of content. So if you do the Reimagine special, and so you're literally getting all of that, you're getting half of it for free.
Yep.
That's amazing. You know, and our goal for doing this was not because we needed something else to do. It wasn't to create something that made a lot of money, because the real impact of NoahU University is the life change that happens in your life, the change that happens in your business when you begin to apply these principles, and you start putting the blog up and it sells product. You know, we have one of our members that's tried some of these experiments and was, you know, got really bad news and a huge client had fell through, and literally just started applying these little, you know, the Noah talks about on social media kind of little flash opportunities that he's done on his site. And literally 2 or 3 little experiments before he knew it, the guy made $5,000 just off of a couple of little social media posts and a blog post.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're giving you guys those tools, but it's just like, you know, when you go to Home Depot, you know, I go in Home Depot and I buy a hammer. I'm not very good with tools like that. And it's just like any tool, you've got to be able to use it and apply it. And so we're not telling you to go and buy a bunch of tools. We're giving you the tools, but you have to use them. You have to apply them. You have to do the hard work of putting these tools in action. And I promise you that if you take these principles and apply them and actually begin to use them in your brand and in your story and in your product, that it will literally change everything for you.
Yep, it'll change your life. Here's some feedback of 3 members. I spent a little bit of time in them, and when they walked away, the first thing that they stopped for a minute and said, "Hey, I just got to thank you because I have hope again. I have hope on the outlook of what it is I want to do in life, how I want to do it, who I'm going to do it with." But you want to know the number one thing that entrepreneurs and creatives and leaders are challenged with is being alone. And for me, the being a leader and going after life and doing this can be very, very lonely because there's not a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of people dreaming. There's a lot of people that want to just clock in, clock out, have security, and think that, you know, they think that trading a paycheck for time is real security. When in actuality, the culture owns them, and it's about as insecure as you can get from the standpoint of, you know, thinking that just because you have a corporate job that it's going to be secure. Well, the recession kind of woke everybody up and kind of put everybody on point. The one thing I like being in business for myself is I get to call the shots, how they get called, when they get called, when vacation happens, when my time happens with my kids. I can see their performances at school. I can be intentional. I can wake up ultra early and get time in and then take them to the beach. I can connect with them. And let me just say this and give you this charge before, you know, we wrap things up here. At the end of your life, you're going to look back and you're not going to say, man, I wish I would have spent one more day at the office. I wish I would have spent more time there. I wish I would have just, you know, built it more. You're not going to be able to look at the the success of your life based on the amount of revenue, because you're not going to be able to fit money in your coffin. And once I started to have those realizations of the reality of what life is really all about, life for me was about relationships and the people that I was going to connect with. And the sooner that you're able to do that and hone in on that and learn how to connect with individuals, the bigger, the more robust, and the more enriched your life is going to be. Now the goal is, and I'm telling you this, I used to think the harder I worked, the more results were going to come. And I'm here to tell you, I'm going to show you ways that that is totally untrue. My goal is to work the least amount possible. But if I was going to work, it was going to be with what I truly did love. And that is possible. And here's what's great, you guys. It's right there for the taking. As soon as you'd like it to happen. As soon as you'd like to put it to work. But you know what? As soon as you are able to take action and pull the trigger and make this thing happen is like the first step, whether it's enrolling today, going to NoahU University, hitting the enrollment button, getting going on your journey now, or it's going to be another year where you look back going, I wish I could have, I should have, I thought, I talked myself out of it, I sabotaged, hey, I don't have enough money. When I started in on my mentorship with one of my mentors, it was very expensive, very, very expensive. I had no money at the time. But I had this realization that if I didn't do something, I was going to stay in the exact rut I was forever. Nothing was going to change. As soon as I started taking action, took the mentorship, started paying for the mentorship, and started getting the principles and getting the ideas of what I needed to do, as soon as I got that in play, results started to happen, change started to happen, my decisions became different, my choices became different, my habits became different, my execution, my time, everything I thought, said, and did changed. Then my life changed. Then my time changed. Then my results changed. More revenue started coming in. Different relationships and people started coming into my life. It is this domino effect, you guys, but it's not going to happen unless you take a pin and burst the hard shell bubble that you've got around yourself for security in terms of stonewalling that you've done, misbeliefs that you've created for security, different habits that you've created to make yourself feel good, to bow out, and you get upset at yourself because you're just killing time. Well, today's a new day. Tonight's a new night. Everything can change once you watch this. I'm glad I made the choice. My family sees the benefit of it. My marriage sees the benefit of it. My kids, my connection with my children, my connections with my friends, and then the impact that I'm able to have. If you read my blog, and I ask you to read my blog, if you read my blog, you look at the products, you look at life, it's an amazing, amazing life to be able to live that way and to be able to do what I do. I want you to be able to do the same thing. It doesn't have to be art. It can be anything you want. I don't care if you want to do underwater basket weaving. Fantastic. But you know what? I'm going to show you how to live in the sweet spot of it. It doesn't have anything to do with what you make. It has everything to do with why you make it and how you get it out there, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And if you love it, if you're passionate about what it is you do, people will resonate with that, and they'll want that to be a part of their life. But again, remember the limited amount of time you have here on Earth. You have very little bit of time. How are you going to use that? How are you going to leverage it? How are you not going to waste it? And how are you going to be able to drive around and live your life and wake up and go, dude, I am living life with intention. I'm living life on purpose, and I'm living life on passion. And I cannot wait to spend another day, because you know what? Even if I'm working a job, I'm working towards the hope and the goal that I'm going to be doing what it is I want to do for a change. That's empowering. That's liberating. That's the sweet spot. And then it just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better. Why? Because you go from hunting small game to hunting big game. You start going on the hunt from, hey, that experiment worked. Wow, I can't believe it. I got 4 more hours in my workday. And then you start going for bigger decisions, start going for more drastic execution. And when you start doing that, and you're around a community of people on the Facebook page and with the other members, you don't feel like I literally felt like I was going out of my mind, like I was like the weird one in life. Nobody could get me. Why? Because my dreams and my aspirations and my view of what I wanted to do in life was real lofty. Well, you know what? If you're to have real crazy dreams, you got to start thinking crazy. If you want to see crazy stuff happen in your life, you got to start thinking radical. You just got to start being radical. And not just in the sake of like you're going to run outside and start going crazy. I'm talking about like giving yourself permission to dream and act on these dreams and not apologize to anybody for it. I had to get out of that life of I better not do this because so-and-so might not like me, or I better not do this because they might not buy it. What if I give you full permission to do whatever it is you want for a change and create and finally make and do the things that you've always wanted to do? You'll be ignited for the first time in life. You'll literally feel like you've had the biggest adrenaline shot, and it won't go away. That's how it is waking up, and Terry and I talking and working with the team and going after new things, and there's speed bumps and roadblocks and people, different things come in life that try to run infiltration, or the goalpost in life moves, or illnesses in the family or whatever. But you know what? The goal, the luxury that you and I have as individuals is we get to choose. You do not have to live this life as a victim. You do not have to bow out and just go with the status quo. You don't have to just go and go with the flow. I love getting charged and being around those individuals that want to get ignited, pull the trigger on life, live with intention, and get fired up about what it is they're doing. You get around a lot of those type of people, you feel invincible. You feel like, hey, I'm going to go risk today. I don't care if I fall flat on my face, but at least I'm failing doing what I love. And if we look at individuals in life, Spielberg, Lucas, Disney, Bill Gates, you look at Steve Jobs, you look at all the movies, you look at these individuals that have gone out and changed the world. They failed way more than they succeeded. I have. All of my failures have refined who I am and what I do and how I do it. But it's because of that and the willingness to completely look fear straight in the face, going, hey, you're not welcome today. I got a bunch of stuff I'm going to do. I know you're present. However, it's not going to define me. I'm going to move in. I'm going to move in authority. I'm going to take risk. I'm going to go headlong into it. But at least I can go to bed with the peace of mind of, you know what? I'm living exactly the way I feel called to live based on what I've been gifted with.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things I can help you with.
And so that's the risk we're asking you to take. And some of you joining NoahU University, it's going to take some financial sacrifice. It's going to take some sacrifice of your time.
Big time. Yep.
You're going to have to abandon an old way of thinking for some of you. Some of you are going to have to leave safety. We're going to ask you to do things that sound crazy. And we're going to ask you things to do that might not seem reasonable. But we're going to challenge you in your thinking. We're going to challenge you to act on what you hear. And so the first step for you is when the stream is done, and it's going to be done in just another minute or two, is going to NoahUniversity.com, going to the landing page right there. In fact, where this video is, there's a button, there's a red button right below the video that will take you straight there. Go to the bottom of the page and go through the enrollment process and get started right now on making your dreams a reality. It's working. We're seeing it work in the lives of people. We're seeing people applying these principles and applying these truths and literally seeing change happen in their lives, in their business, in their brands. And we want those same things for you. We're not. This isn't one of those self-help products like Noah talked, where it's 17 steps to the happy life, and man, we're all going to hit speed bumps. And if you haven't got Noah's book, Speed Bumps, you should go and get it. You can go to his website, Noah Fine Art. He was telling you about his blog. You can go to NoahFineArt.com, and as soon as the first thing you can do on the site is download his book and hear his story. And that's what I love about Noah. Even just this last week, there's been speed bumps that we faced, and you're going to face them. We're not telling you joining Noah University means that you're not going to face them. But what you can change is how you think when you hit a speed bump. And what I've seen Noah do time and time again, when he gets to a wall, other people turn around and go home. Noah just drives through the wall or jumps over the wall and keeps going. And so the beauty of Noah University is you don't have to do that alone. You're going to be surrounded by hundreds of people who are going through this process with you, who are loving on you, who are encouraging you. And if you have any questions about Noah University that we didn't answer on this live stream, email me personally at terry@noahuniversity.com. Give me a few hours tonight. I'll get back to you as quick as I possibly can. We try to respond to all of our emails from our members super fast. But if you have questions about enrollment, I'd be happy to answer them. I can tell you that if you truly pull the trigger on this, if you act, if you do this, if you don't just say what if, but if you say I'm going to, and I'm going to take this risk, I'm jumping in head first, and let's do this, and let's change the world, let's change your life, let's change your business, and let's get you from being a starving artist to being a thriving artist, because that's our biggest desire for you, is to see you thrive in your business, to see you thrive in your family, and we can't wait to go on this journey with you.
Yeah,
So,
I'll part with this. This just totally hit me as I was hearing Terry talk, and I appreciate that, man. We look at the end of our life, and we're going to sit here. You have a couple of choices in what you can do with the time that you're here. You have a decision as you've heard this video. You can act on it, or we can live a life where we look back and have regrets. And the biggest regrets are the things that we didn't pursue and try. I remember, I know what it's like. I've been there multiple times where either financially I didn't have it, or I didn't have anything in the tank spiritually, and the way I was just feeling creatively. I just felt like I was at my end. And sometimes the end doesn't mean like I'm out of fuel. It just means that I'm complacent. That means I'm comfortable. That like I've just reached a doldrum or a step. Like you're on the journey. Yeah, you're on the right journey, but you just hit flatline. Like there's nothing going on. I'm not inspired. I'm not encouraged. I have nothing. I have been there. And I just want to tell you this. What if this year, what if the next few months was the first time that you were able to pour into yourself the opportunity to discover truly why in the world that you were put here and what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it? Is it worth the time? Forget the money. Is it worth you pouring into yourself for the first time, loving on yourself, going deep, discovering who you are, your talent, your craft, how you're going to execute that, how you're going to impact the world? What if you finally just poured a little bit into yourself and just pushed pause for a minute on life, poured that into yourself, acted on it, and saw results? That is a game changer for me. I look back now and I remember when I first went into my mentorship, I skipped. The guy presented it to me. I heard what he had to say. I said, you know what, it's too much money. I then waited 3 years. In that 3-year process, I got myself in more financial, spiritual, and career trouble. Not purposely, but I didn't know what I didn't know. Then I took the mentorship because I was sick and tired of the choices that I was making in life. Then I look back on that 3 years and go, had I taken that mentorship and had the knowledge that I had going through that season of life, my execution and decisions would have been completely different, because my foundation for my wisdom was completely on a different level. You have to ask yourself that question and really drill down on that. Do I like what I'm getting in life? Am I living the life that I truly feel that I should be living? And am I doing and being what I truly want to be doing? And if the answer is no, then what is it worth to you in order to pour that time into yourself? Take a minute and think about that. And that's something that really, really needs to sink in. Now, here's the other thing. You can't go to bed tonight saying that you don't know. Mm-hmm. The opportunity and the chance to change has presented itself. And you have the opportunity to embark on a journey to discover truly what's supposed to be. And in that amount of time, and tonight, you now have that opportunity. You can't ever say, nah, I'm good. It's never been known to me. I wish someday somebody would show me what I really need to do, or I wish I could find what really needs to happen. You know what? It's presented itself. Opportunity is here, knocking at your door. Things can change. And let me just tell you, you're going to get way more uncomfortable than you are comfortable. Okay? I know that I'm living in a true sense of leadership, and I'm living a life with intention when I'm constantly in a state of uncomfortable. Why? Because I'm in a constant state of risking. I'm in a constant state of trying. Well, I wonder what people are going to think of this idea. I wonder what they're going to think of that price point. I wonder what they're going to think of this blog post when I literally disclose my heart on a page and put it in writing. I wonder what they're going to think about this idea. I wonder what they're going to think about literally that constant stage of risk and trying and failing and succeeding and doing it over and over and over again. is uncomfortable, but that's when you know you're in the right spot, because you can just keep spending night after night after night in front of the TV. Most people will drink themselves silly on the weekends, numbing themselves because they're not living the life that they truly want to have. And that comes in the forms of all kinds of different ways. And I get it. I completely get it. There's nothing to look forward to in life. So really stop and consider that. I know you wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't have that burning desire in your heart. And the last part is this. Do you realize that you're one of the top, probably 0.05% of the culture? I commend you and congratulate you. And the fact that you're willing to watch something and to seek making a difference and going big in life. Because nobody wants to do it. Everybody else just wants to be told what to do and just kind of just take life as is. You have a unique opportunity, and I congratulate you for stepping up, and I could not be more excited for you and what's to come. If I would not be saying this, had we not had, 2 enrollments? We're in our third enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
Third enrollment of people seeing results. I'm telling you guys, I could not be more excited. And just to let you know, it's not like I'm done. I am literally living everything we're teaching you, and I am refining that and going bigger so that you can learn from all of what I've gone through. So I leave you with that. I could not be more excited. I'd love to hear a comment from you. Email us at faculty@noahuniversity.com or terry@noahuniversity.com. Enroll. Get in the group tonight. Get in the Facebook. We'll welcome you. We'll love on you. Could not be more excited for you. We'd love to hear your story, your bio, your backstory, where you came from, where you're at. And, man, this could be the greatest journey of your life.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us. Now's your chance to act. The video's going to end, and you've got to do something. So you're either going to make the decision to act and for this next year to be about life change and about changing your business, or it's going to be about staying and continuing and doing what you've been done before. So the decision's yours. Now's your opportunity. Right below the video, click the red button, get started and enroll, and we can't wait to join you on this journey. Have a great evening.
Thanks so much.